Hello everyone, Impiator here. Welcome back to my Newcomer's Guide for Elden Ring. This is part 46. So in the last episode, we ended up progressing out to the Shaded Castle. We completed that area. We ended up progressing Millicent's quest line using the item that we found there by heading to the Erdtree Gazing Hill, and then we also ended up meeting her again in Windmill Heights. We also ended up picking up another one of those paintings, and we found the painter here. Picked up that item. And then I had forgotten about one of the other painters, and the painting that we picked up, I think it was in Celia. Anyway, he was actually behind the Church of Pilgrimage, so we just picked up that item in the end of the last episode too. In this episode, we're going to be heading for the Aqueduct facing Kliss. I'll talk more about the boss when we get there, but this one's going to be a hard one. So before we do that, let's head over to the Round Table Hold, grab us some level ups first.
Greet you here for...
So if you've been following along, you should have your ashes for your Mimic tier up to +6. That's going to make this a lot easier. And then I'll go ahead and grab another level up on my short bow. I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the same gear that we had like 2 hours in, just to show you that, yes, it's viable to use basically any gear in the game. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and grab a level as we're pretty close to having enough for a level, I think. 45, we need 49. Let's see, these are 3,000, 2,000, sorry. Let's go ahead and pop a couple. Alright, so let's head out to the Aqueduct facing Kliss. Now before we head in here, I do want to call out that you can make this fight a little bit easier by doing something revolving around the twinned Knight Helm. I'm going to go ahead and grab the gear. I'm not going to do what it is that you can do, and we'll talk about why when we get there. But consider taking it with you just in case you decide to make this fight easier for yourself. So down here we have a Crucible Knight. This one has all the same attack patterns as all the others that we fought, with the exception that once he gets to his second phase, he'll start doing some fire-breathing attacks. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to get him to follow us, and we're going to head to the tower because this tower has more places for him to fall off on than the other tower. So we want to get this guy to half of his health. Again, the biggest thing about these guys is don't be greedy. And I'm a very greedy person, so... Okay, so once he does that, stand out here, roll through him. And he's going to end up falling off the ledge, and you're still going to get his runes as well as his gear. So that can make this fight a little bit easier if you're struggling with him. So, one of the coolest shields in the game, in my opinion. Looking, anyway. And then we also got the Missionary's Cookbook. This allows us to craft some of the new sacred pot types. We don't yet have any sacred pots, but that is something we can now start messing around with. So over here we have another Crucible Knight. This guy has a unique moveset that we haven't run into yet. So we're going to be talking about his stuff in a lot more depth. First, though, we're going to come over here because the enemies in here will actually join him if you don't kill them now. So we'll come over here and pick this stuff up first. We got a scarab here to grab. This is going to give us order healing. Order healing allows us to avoid death blight buildup. And the next area that we're going to, that can be beneficial, particularly if you aren't going to be using the beast repellent torch. I'm going to recommend using this though because we're going to be dealing with a lot of basilisks in the next area. Otherwise though, we're going to come out here, pick up a golden rune. And then there's another golden rune over here. And now we're going to head back to this fight. Now, obviously this is optional. You don't have to face off against these guys. You can just run from them, but I think they're not too bad. So, this guy doesn't have a shield, so he can't block any of your attacks. What he does have, though, are some stab attacks with his weapon and some swing attacks. Probably his most damaging attack before his second phase is a thrust attack. It doesn't give you a whole lot of time to respond, so be aware of that. Otherwise, though, once he gets to half of his health, he's going to gain 3 new attacks. The first one is going to be he'll stand still and basically charge his weapon, and then it'll launch like a attack forward at you. And it goes basically all the way past the screen. So you'll want to dodge to the left or right for that. He'll also jump into the air, charge up his weapon, and then slam the ground right where you are. So you're going to want to roll underneath him during that attack. His most damaging attack, though, is probably his pauldron attack. So on one of his shoulders, he has a pauldron, and he'll basically glow, and then he'll run at you and try to basically hit you with his pauldron. That does massive damage. So we don't want to be hit by that attack if we can avoid it. It likely won't kill you in a single hit at full health, but it'll definitely knock you down to like maybe 2/3. So be aware of that. He also follows it up typically with a couple of swings, but otherwise, we'll go ahead and kill him. Alright, so now he's going to do his attacks. That's the one to roll under. That's the one to dodge. That's the pauldron one. Otherwise, that's going to be it. I am a very greedy attacker, so be a little more defensive than I am is what I would recommend. Otherwise, we're going to head into the left path here, kill the enemies that are in here. Got ourselves a rune arc, and then we've also got some enemies that are going to be coming down this path. There's like 5 of them, so I'm going to recommend that you get them to come to you one at a time. So grab the smithing stone, grab the golden rune. Some more golden centipedes out here. Okay, so this is Dee's brother. You might remember this guy from the conversation with Roger. After Roger died, he gave you a note, and that note mentioned that D had a little brother. Well, this is the little brother. You cannot kill him. However, if you talk to him, you're going to have the opportunity to give him the twinned armor set. What he does, though, is going to be determined based on how you got the twinned armor set. So, if you got the twinned armor set by killing D yourself, which is something that you could have done very early in the game, he's going to become hostile, and he's going to try to kill you. So, be aware of that. However, if you got it from Fia's quest line, because Fia killed D, then he's actually going to end up going after Fia, killing her, and that will actually stop you from being able to progress her quest line. And that quest line locks you, and abandoning that quest line like that locks you out of one of the endings, so the Dustborn ending. So if you want the Dustborn ending, consider not doing that. The bigger problem, though, is it locks you out of an optional boss fight, the Fortisax Dragon fight. So I don't recommend doing that on a first playthrough. I think you should fight Fortisax on your first playthrough. So I'm not going to recommend giving the twinned Night Gear to him. However, if you're really struggling with this boss, well, he'll become a summon for this boss. And you can also summon your own helper as well. So that can make this fight a lot easier. So consider that if that's something that you want to do. Otherwise, though, let's go ahead and talk about this boss fight. This boss fight is very, very hard. And mostly it's because of poor design. So you're going to want some kind of weapon that does strike damage, because that's his main physical weakness. He is unfortunately resistant to all of the elements, and he's also resistant to all of the poisons, all of the dragon rots, all that stuff. The only thing he is less, I guess you could say, resistant to is magic, but he still has resistance to magic. So you don't want to have a weapon that's a straight magic weapon or that does split magic damage. Ideally, we want a weapon that does strike damage, and then we want to add magic damage on top of that strike damage using something like Magic Grease. So I'm going to go ahead and equip that for this fight as well. The big problem with this fight, though, is that this boss's attack location, whenever you lock onto him, actually makes it so you cannot hit him whenever you are right between his legs. So really what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to follow him and then hit him on the legs on the left or right, or hit him in the back, or hit him from afar with something else, or use a weapon that has more distance, more range than this weapon. So you might have a better chance with this fight, might be easier for you, but this is going to be a difficult fight for me. I'm going to go ahead and pop that. We're going to summon. I'm going to heal up. And then I'm going to pop some Magic Grease. Now, unfortunately, once you get this boss down to half health, he's going to be joined by a second one of these. So we want to kill this guy as quickly as possible, particularly once he gets to his second phase. That does a lot of damage, by the way. Thankfully, your friend is immune to poison. Alright, so he's about at his halfway point. Alright. So now we can at least focus on just one at a time. That's a dangerous attack. Stay away from that if you can. Again, I got some of the worst choices for weapons to attack this enemy with. So I'm surprised I'm actually possibly going to beat this boss on the first try. Hey! Cool. Hopefully you'll have a better chance of beating this boss without having as much struggle as me with a weapon that's not so short. Otherwise, though, you're going to get the Gargoyles great sword for your troubles, as well as the Twin Blade. And I'll be honest with you, I don't often one-shot this boss, so that is, especially at this phase of the game. Alright, so we've made it to the Grace. And what we're going to be heading for now is going to be the Deep Root location. Now again, there are two ways to reach this place. Getting in this coffin is one of them. The other way is going to be progressing through a portion of Lanedale Castle, and there's a teleporter that'll take you to this location too. But this is going to be the way that we're going to go. So as you come over here, make sure to grab this Grace, because we're about to be against another boss fight. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and equip Fire. Having some fire pots also wouldn't be a bad idea. Again, I always sleep on this kind of gear, to be honest with you. Okay, so we got one of these Erdtree avatars to deal with. Again, he doesn't like fire very much, so take advantage. Otherwise, same thing that all the others have done. I actually consider this one easier than the last couple, though, because all the others that we fought up to this point, recently anyway, have had Scarlet Rot. Still his most dangerous attack. I asked for that. There we go. For your troubles, you're going to get his weapon. So we got Staff of the Avatar, Erdtree Slam, which is a unique ability. So we got some very chunky ants up here. I'm going to recommend that you face off against one at a time. Alright, so the scarab has gone away. Let's go ahead and quit. And then we'll start back the game. Just from the main menu. So that's going to give us a ability called Golden Land. Great axes, hammers, colossal weapons. You can basically add affinities on it to now. So this area has a bunch of these routes that basically travel down to the main section of this location. We're going to head up here first. Pick up this item. So more smithing stones, always nice to have. So a couple of things about this place. There are several sets of these branches that go off in various directions, but most of them are dead ends. So this one's a dead end, but you can jump over to that one if you want to. So, but there's no items there, so we're not going to do that. Because there's a secret up here. So pop over to this one. We're going to head across this one. We're going to jump off over here. So a little cave over here, and this is going to lead to an area with a whole bunch of ant enemies. So I recommend taking this place slow, especially once we get down to the next level down. Get the enemies to come to you. So there's a whole bunch more over here. I don't recommend killing these things from afar, like you might think would be a good idea, because it'll cause all of the other ones to drop down. And we want only some of them to drop down. Again, as you can see, they kind of just keep dropping. That's a little weird. And for your troubles, you're going to pick up Elden Stars. Creates a stream of golden shooting stars that assail the area. High faith requirement, though. Alright, so from here we're going to go ahead and nail these enemies. Alright, so now we're on the other side, as you can see. So we're going to grab a couple of items on the other side, and then we're going to make our way to kind of the center area to get a grace. And I think that's where we're going to wrap it. So we got ourselves a smithing stone. So that's where we were earlier. We want to get that item. Gotta climb a little bit more. That was close. Another golden rune. Head into this little area, just pick up the items and run. this is going to take us to a Grace. So, in the next episode, we're going to be crossing over to that location. That's actually where we're going to find the map fragment for this place as well. But otherwise, thank you everybody for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Later.